I'm curious on when you're advocating for plant-based nutrition for anybody, but athletes. How do you balance the science with the like emotional and cultural attachment that many of your clients might have to eating animal protein?
Like you're saying, if I have a patient who is like, hey, I really think I need to eat meat in order to maximize muscle growth or something like that, and is that what you're saying? Like, how would I speak to
I
that?
mean, just as an attachment to it, whether it might be cultural and how they grew up, or and then like you're describing right now sounds like an emotional attachment to me, right? Like I emotionally think that I need, because it's not logic, but that I really need animal protein, and I'm just wondering how you talk to them, how you balance the science that says you can actually do it, it'll be fine, with those experiences that they're having with animal protein, whether it's emotional or cultural, whatever it might be.
Yeah, I'm really fortunate in that people who come to me are really interested in transitioning their diets. I don't ever have to sell this to people who are coming over, and that's awesome. I wouldn't even try to sell it to, I think that there are so many people in the world who are really interested in eating more plants to whatever extent they want to shift, that I mean, I personally wouldn't waste much time or any time trying to convince anyone that same effort could be spent helping a lower hanging fruit. But I mean, I, I love science. I love applying a scientific lens to anything and everything. I think it's just so much fun. And it also helps me get out of my own head. So I recognize when I'm experiencing something personally, I don't invalidate that experience in the same way I wouldn't invalidate it for another person who says, look, culturally, my family gets together and we have fish on Fridays. Um, and we eat all these other meals that have animal foods in them. And I'm happy to get rid of those other ones or eat less of those other meals, but fish on Friday matters to me for whatever reason. I would happily say, cool, like you should do exactly, take things as far or, as you're interested in taking it. And it's interesting to see that the global shift towards more plant predominant diets isn't coming from people who are going 100% vegan. It's coming from people who are kind of middle of the road folks who are just starting to integrate more of these foods into their diets. And so I'm totally happy supporting those people. If anything, um, given that with almost everything in life, there are diminishing returns for changes that we make, that I'm more likely to help someone who has much further to go to cut half of the animal products out of their diets than I am to help someone who's 99% of the way and wants to go just a little bit further. There are still benefits for those people too, no question about it. But the benefits are going to be greater the further distance or ground we need to cover. So yeah, I would say do what feels right to you and take your baby steps and do it in a way where you feel like it's sustainable. Don't feel like you're sacrificing. If it feels like a sacrifice, you're doing something wrong. This should be an enjoyable experience where you're proud and don't feel deprived in life. This should feel more like a party um, than a prison. And so, yeah, I would just encourage them to take it however. And look, it always goes the same. I should say 99% of the time it goes the same way, where it's like I went from, let's say, meat every day to meat every other day, and I actually find I sleep better on the days or whatever it is. I recover better. I feel better on the days where I didn't have it. My reflux is gone or whatever. They're like, I think I could actually do this, eat meat once every 3 days. And it's like a self-propagating process where they just naturally find that they feel different and they feel better. And so this way I don't nudge them. I don't push them in a direction. They're the ones taking themselves along. And that's great because there's nothing to push back against. If I take like an authoritarian role, you have to, whatever, then they can push back. I mean, with my kids, you can see this all the time. Anything you say, they're going to push back against whatever you give them. But instead, if you give them that room to grow and don't nag or push hard, then they just naturally are the leaders of their own lives and choices. And so I find that's the best way for me to take it. Does that make sense? Or do you do the same thing, or how do you approach it?
This is about you, and you're
Oh,
gonna.
oh, sorry. I didn't know. I was just
No,
curious. I was
I
genuinely curious.
mean, yeah. I think it's very similar. I mean, I certainly learned a long time ago that force mentally force feeding anyone anything is never the way. So I tend to lovingly, but in my deep insides, begrudgingly share people with people that, there's a million ways that you can do this and get to your end goal. It could be slow, it could be fast, it could be, this meal, that meal, Wednesday, Friday, like, yes, because, just getting there. And I think they feel supported in the fact that a vegan is telling them to just see what works for them and relax into it and try new foods, and not just like you have to start tomorrow and it's zero animal. That's just not. I've never seen that really work all that well. So I'm with you.
And it's also interesting. I think people expect hearing us talk about food that we're going to tell them all the things that they have to wipe out that they love, even if it's not about like vegan stuff. If it's alcohol, oh my God, I've had so many patients who are like, I know you're going to tell me I have to stop drinking my glass of red wine. It's like, guess what? I just realized like there's no chance I'm going to tell you need to not have, because like that's the thing that matters to you. Like there's so many things we can work on. If you love every vegetable but hate broccoli, somehow people think I'm going to tell them they have to eat broccoli. Like why don't we play to your strengths? Right? Like why would we focus on the only thing that, and I think people think that that's what has to happen, is it has to be a painful process. And I think that they think it's going to just be treacherous and uphill. And that's one of the things that I like most about working with people, is that I can show them that sometimes change can be harmless and seamless and enjoyable and prideful, rather than these like motivational YouTube videos where it's like you got to wake up at 3 a.m. if you want to, you want to be successful in business or athletics. It's like, no, I'm going to wake up whenever the alarm doesn't wake me. I'm just going to wake up whenever I want to wake up, and then I'll exercise when I want to exercise. And I'm
Still
not
going to
going
be
to
a
like,
badass.
yeah, I'm not going to do these things. I'm going to just like, and right, maybe you see this also with dairy stuff, where so many people come to me and they say like, I just can't give up cheese. Like cheese is just, that's the thing. That's fine. Like, let's not start with that. Like, let's start with something completely different, and we'll just work on things you're excited to do, as long as they have some impact. Like, I'm not super interested in working on really, really low impact things. Like the switching from what is it, like conventional butter to grass-fed butter makes no difference. There's research, it makes just no difference at all in terms of biomarkers of consequence like cholesterol and
Right.
high
And you
sensitivity.
can't grass feed butter anyway. You can grass feed a cow. That just
Right,
makes me
right.
freaking crazy.
Yeah. So we're not going to work on things like that that don't
Yeah.
really have any consequence. But as long as we're working on something that matters, you pick.